Hello, everyone. Welcome to your weekly webinar. My name is Andrea Givens, and we will let people join the webinar. If you're watching live, type in the chat box where you're watching from, say hello. And tonight's topic that we will get started with momentarily is pre-workout supplements for athletes, friend or foe. I love this topic. I love talking about supplements. I love talking about working out. And I am so happy to be educating you on this topic tonight. So again, if you're watching live, I would love to hear where you're watching live from and what pre-workout supplement you might have tried if you have tried one. If not, we're going to learn all about them. So but not. First, I'll start with introducing myself. My name is Andrea Given. I'm a dietitian based in San Diego. In 2019, I worked for USA Volleyball. That was their Olympic qualifying year. Prior to that, I worked in Major League Baseball with the San Francisco Giants. I have my master's degree in nutrition and exercise physiology from San Diego State. And I currently work with the US military on a physiology and metabolic research team. So tonight's webinar on pre-workout supplements, we will learn what a pre-workout supplement is. We are going to go over common ingredients that we see in pre-workout supplements and what they do, why people are even interested in taking them. We're going to learn about something you probably see on the label a lot, which is a proprietary blend. We're going to talk about third-party testing, which is a good thing. And we're going to talk about risks related to pre-workout supplements. So, what is a pre-workout supplement? Pre-workout supplements are, as the name hints to, supplements taken prior to workout that have some sort of ergogenic effect. So they are going to enhance your performance somehow during the workout. So they're either going to help with metabolism during the workout. So they might help to bring certain fuels into the bloodstream to be used by working muscles. They might change physiologic function. That would be like increasing your heart rate, and also psychological function. So in the instance, let's say, of caffeine, it makes exercise feel easier. So these are all things that we see in pre-workout supplements, or why people would do them. So ingredients that are typically in pre-workout supplements, most commonly, and I already dropped it, is caffeine. We also see creatine, beta-alanine, branched chain amino acids, or BCAAs, and taurine. So those are the most common ingredients, and we'll kind of go through those. Things that you absolutely want to avoid and do not want in your pre-workout supplement would be too much caffeine. For most people, this is going to be anything north of 200 milligrams. You also probably don't want any carbonation in a pre-workout supplement, because the carbonation is ingesting gas into your stomach, which could cause belching and discomfort when you're trying to work out. You also would not want anything that's very high in fat, because that is going to slow down the absorption of the fuels that you're trying to utilize during the workout. Anything that's very high in antioxidants. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, because we think of antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals as being really healthy for us. But in fact, surrounding your workout, you want to avoid high levels of antioxidants, because the stress that you're putting on your body during your exercise session is good, needed, intended, desired. We want the body to be stressed, and we want the body to overcome that stress on its own with its own internal mechanisms. We don't want any external vitamins and minerals and antioxidants to be dampening the training response that we get from exercise that is desired. We also want to avoid, this is a major red flag, proprietary blends, and we'll talk more about that. So proprietary blend is a loophole that marketing and companies can use so that they do not have to tell you exact amounts of what is in the ingredients. So they might say there's a proprietary blend, or other words that might be used are blend, complex, matrix. Now, these blends, here, they just have a total amount, and then they list out a bunch of different things. So here we have proprietary blend, 4,000 milligrams or 4 grams. And then we have a bunch of things listed under that. We have arginine, we have creatine, beta-alanine, caffeine, but we have no idea how much of each of those ingredients is in that quote unquote blend. And that is unfortunate because when we are using creatine, when we're using caffeine, when we're using beta-alanine, there are specific doses and specific amounts that are effective. And so if we don't know if we're taking the correct amount, then that's pretty wasteful. So avoid any supplements that have a label that look like this, that's a proprietary blend, and just pick something else. Third-party testing is really important. So in the United States, our food supply is very safe. Our medications are highly regulated. That is not the case for dietary supplements. So we want to make sure that you're taking a safe supplement, that what's on the label is actually in the ingredients and actually in the product. There's always media articles coming out, it seems like every other day, saying that such and such supplement was found to not even have in it what it said it had in it. So the way to make sure that you're taking a good supplement is to make sure that it has a third-party logo on the label. So the three big ones are listed here on the screen: NSF for sport, informed choice, and the gold standard BSCG. So you want to look for the third-party testing labels. You can go to these websites and type in your supplement that you're thinking about getting and see if it's on their list. And they probably, I believe they have an app too as well. Now, just a side note that the third-party testing does not totally assure, it's not 100% assurance that the product is good, safe, free of banned substances, but you can have more confidence in taking a third-party tested supplement than one that's not third-party tested, which you should avoid. So some risks related to pre-workout supplement that you should be aware of is that, unfortunately, some supplements can be contaminated with stimulants, with SARMs, with steroids, with things that are harmful to you and could either harm you or pop positive on a drug test. And the reason for that is because these supplement companies use these large manufacturing facilities that many companies use. And so cross-contamination does happen, even if a supplement company is not intentionally putting bad things in their supplements, they could still get in there from cross-contamination. Another risk is just too much caffeine. A lot of these pre-workout supplements have 200, 300, or even higher amounts of caffeine. And you need to be really careful when you're looking at the serving size and also the scoop size, because if you're using multiple scoops or if you're using an overflowing heaping scoop, that could have more caffeine in it than you were intending. You can, from the caffeine, have an increased heart rate and increased blood pressure, which can be potentially dangerous. This can also cause distress to your GI system, cause nausea, stomach upset, having you run to the bathroom before or during your workout, which could potentially ruin your workout. Some people get skin reactions to beta-alanine. It causes like a tingling sensation at high effective doses. And you could also get headaches from any of these ingredients. So before thinking about a pre-workout supplement, the first thing to address, the first two things, is going to be nutrition and sleep. These are going to give you the best quality workouts that you'll ever have. Pre-workout supplements can't even come close to the benefits that eating well and sleeping enough are going to have on your workout. So make sure that you are eating enough, eating at the right times of day, eating before your workout, and then also make sure that you are sleeping enough, good sleep quality and enough sleep. So giving yourself, adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, and athletes need more. So if you are not allowing yourself at least 9, 10 or more hours in bed, because the hours you spend in bed, you're not asleep that whole time. So you need to make sure that you are extending your time in bed so that you can have enough time to sleep. If you feel like you need a pre-workout because you're too tired, then you probably don't need a pre-workout. You probably need to prioritize your sleep. We have a couple of case studies. Case study number 1 Julie is a 19-year-old female college volleyball player who plays every single match. As the season progresses, her performance is dropping and her coach is concerned. From the information below, it is clear that Emily is not getting enough sleep. She wakes up each morning at 6 a.m. for weights. She stays up doing homework on her laptop until 2 a.m. She has started to take a pre-workout before her weights. So, what time should she be aiming to go to sleep at? So she's currently on her laptop until 2. She has to get up at 6. So she should be aiming to be going to bed much earlier than that. Let's see, a 9 or 10 p.m. bedtime would get her an adequate amount of sleep. She probably should address her sleeping duration before having a pre-workout, especially because she's only 19. And then increasing the quality of her sleep. So number one is allowing yourself enough time in bed to get at least 8 or more hours, preferably 9 or more hours of sleep a night. And then the quality of your sleep. So you want a cool, you might want a fan or air conditioner or crack the window, depending on the time of season. You also want the room to be very dark. So you can either accomplish this by using blackout curtains, or if you don't have blackout curtains or you're traveling, you can use an eye mask. And then just really quiet. So either earplugs, or some people like white noise. The fan doubles as white noise as well. Case study number 2. Dan is a 22-year-old college baseball athlete. He has told his coach he is feeling extra fatigued this week at practice. He has to wake up each morning at 7 a.m. for school. His team practices 6 days a week with 2 strength and conditioning sessions. In addition, he plays Xbox for 2 hours with his friends every night before going to bed at midnight, and he drinks coffee 3 times a day. So, what are some steps that Dan can take to improve his quality and duration of sleep? So, I would say that he probably should cut down on the Xbox time of day. So, if he can play, maybe he probably has practice right after school, but if he can play Xbox at a different time of day, he still might be able to get in the 2 hours. Otherwise, if it's still before bed, he needs to cut down the amount of time he's spending on Xbox so that he can go to bed. Let's see, he has to wake up at 7, so he would want to go to bed around 9 or 10 p.m. And he should not take a pre-workout. He's already drinking coffee that's putting him over the 400 milligram of caffeine daily limit. If he does take a pre-workout, he probably doesn't need any additional caffeine. He should have just a pre-workout that maybe has creatine in it. Creatine, the time of day doesn't matter, but he could take that before his workout if he wanted to, just to get some fluids. Okay, so in summary, a good pre-workout supplement is going to have ingredients that the amounts are listed. We want it to be third-party tested, and all the dosage are based on research. Bad pre-workout supplements are going to have generic ingredients, proprietary blends, stimulants to cover up for insufficient profiles of the true ingredients, and also have banned substances. Those are the worst. All right, action steps and review. So you want to prioritize nutrition and sleep before implementing any pre-workout. You want to discuss the use of dietary supplements with a qualified sports dietitian. Check the ingredient list, dosage, and certification. Make sure there is third-party testing before buying any supplement. So frequently asked questions. How do I know whether my pre-workout is good or bad? So remember the list. You want it to be third-party tested. Red flags are proprietary blends. At what age should you start taking a pre-workout? You want to delay this as long as possible and first prioritize nutrition and sleep. And you can absolutely have coffee before you work out. Instead of taking a pre-workout supplement, coffee is going to have a much lower dose of caffeine, and it's not going to have any of the other ingredients, potentially risky ingredients that a pre-workout might have. You should definitely not try multiple supplements at one time. That could be very dangerous. And are there any supplements that might help your sleep? So first, you want to maximize all of the non-pharmacological ways to increase your sleep, like having a wind down routine, putting screens away, listening to audio instead of having your screen and do visual, listen to a podcast, listen to a comedy show, only have audio before bed, dim the lights, have that wind down routine, take a shower or a bath, have a cool, dark room. And after all of those things have been tried, you also in the morning want to try to get outside and get sunlight in your eyeballs, right? First thing in the morning. And if all that is being followed and you're still having difficulty, some melatonin might help you fall asleep, but it won't help you stay asleep. You still need to address all those other things. We have a quote of the day. Some supplements work for some people some of the time, but most supplements don't work for anybody any of the time. Remember, you can maximize your performance with nutrition and sleep way more than you can with any supplement. You can scan this QR code to listen to a pre-workout supplement podcast. I'll leave that up on the screen. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask them or go to our website for more resources on this topic. Here are the references from the slides tonight. And that takes us to the end of the webinar. So I appreciate you watching and stay tuned for the next webinar.